South Carolina Republicans honor Tennessee Senator. FITSNews Marsha Blackburn touts support for Israel. Donald Trump on visit to Palmetto State. As the United Nations, UN, General Assembly called for a humanitarian truce in Gaza, a group of conservatives gathered in Beaufort County, South Carolina to pay tribute to the leadership of U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. As expected, the escalating conflict in the Middle East loomed large over both proceedings. Blackburn, the first woman elected to the U.S. Senate from Tennessee, is actively campaigning for re-election against a pair of Democratic rivals. She's in no danger of losing her seat, either, according to the latest polling. In addition to her U.S. Senate race, Blackburn is rumored to be a potential vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump in his 2024 presidential campaign. Last Friday, October 27, 2023, Blackburn was granted the Robert Smalls Leadership Award during a biannual dinner named after the same Civil War-era slave-turned-emancipated politician. Approximately 120 members and friends of the Beaufort County Republican Party, BCRP, including SC 1st District Congresswoman Nancy Mace, joined the 71-year-old for her exclusive ceremony. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than among the sponsors for this year's program. The BCRP highlighted SC Senator Tim Scott and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, two presidential candidates rejected by Blackburn, who announced her endorsement of Trump back in April. She remains an unwavering supporter of the former president and his American First foreign policy despite consternation from some corners of the GOP. FITSNews spoke exclusively with Blackburn moments before the UNGA adopted a non-binding resolution for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The symbolic gesture was presented by approximately 50 countries and approved by 120 nations, with 45 nations abstaining. A total of 14 countries voted against the resolution for peace, including the United States and Israel. "I'm very pro-Israel," said Blackburn prior to the award ceremony. "Israel is the democracy in the Middle East. They're one of our oldest and closest allies, and we have made that commitment to stand with them." President Trump made certain that our allies knew they were our allies, and that our enemies feared us, she added. Blackburn has lambasted current U.S. President Joe Biden's massive defense request to Congress. That proposal loops funding for Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and intensified security at the U.S.-Mexico border. Much to his chagrin, the comprehensive request did not garner bipartisan support among conservatives. "What we're trying to do is the right thing, which is to break this apart and take each issue separately," she said. "Bear in mind, Israel has not asked for troops. What they've asked for is additions and plus-ups to the Iron Dome, to David's Sling, for the defensive and offensive items that are needed in a battle." The senator argues that in federal assistance to Israel should not be leveraged by an additional to Ukraine. Last week, she introduced legislation to limit funding for the United Nations while filing a standalone bill to supply Israel directly, so as not to subsidize terrorist organizations such as Hamas, Hezbollah, and ISIS. Click to view. FITSNews asked Blackburn whether or not Americans should anticipate another war on terrorism, the unofficial and growing cost of a global counter-terrorism campaign initiated by the U.S. over 20 years ago. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than, all of it falls on the taxpayer, she said. That is why people are asking to break it up, have a proper discussion, meet the needs, make certain that we are protecting our nation and sovereignty, make sure that we are meeting our obligations to our allies but being good stewards of the taxpayers' money. So, you know what? Let's take our time, she said. Let's do this right. Andrew Fancher is a Lone Star Emmy Award-winning journalist from Dallas, Texas. Cut from a bloodline of outlaws and lawmen alike, he was the first of his family to graduate college, which was accomplished with honors. Got a story idea or news tip for Andy? Email him directly and connect with him socially across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.